Hello, mic check. Sorry. Did the thing run out? Sorry, I went to get some tea and it looks like it went faster than I could. Welcome to the Betterment Broadcast. Let me is that is that the end of the video? Hold on. It is. There you go. Voila. Here we go. Yes, welcome everyone to show 126. Nice, isn't that good? 126. So that's 126 shows we have been doing, working with the community, trying to find solutions that affect Black community. And today is no different. We shall be doing the same today. We have a jam-packed, fantastic show today. But we have to start as we always start. So welcome everyone to the Betterment Broadcast. I'm your host, Rap Raven. And we start with the three important lines that are very important. And let's break those down. So when it comes to working as a collective with only Black people on matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership, Black people are collectively inadequate. At this particular thing, we struggle. Not to worry, we're going to work on that. Next, individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of camaraderie towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. Don't forget that one. And last, but by no means least, and these are very, very, very important, constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. That's right. That's right. That's very important. Now, what I'm going to do, fam, because I think I was going to download. Let me quickly get something. Won't take too long. 126. There you go. Let's make sure I get the right one. Zoom, zoom, zoom. This is going to be the move the killer. There we go. Found it. The killer speed of a mid. Let's need to post something. I was made it, but I literally was next door, and this thing just went crazy, man. So download. Excellent. All right. So moving on. So yeah. So we're going to throw the 4D values. Now, I'm going to leave it on the screen. If you can see the screen, it's very helpful. When we communicate, as we will send the link out today, please remember the 4D values. And if those who are here for the first time, what are those 4D values? It is as follows. You're dealing with discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. These are the 4D values. If you can use these when you communicate with Black people, trust me, it will make life easier. I know it's sometimes very challenging. We'll do that. Just bear with me. I just have to post this on the live feed. Share. Hold on. Almost there. Mention. Yeah, cool. And then done. Let's make sure it doesn't take 5 years. And then here we go. Is it done? I think it's done. Share. All right, cool. I have to do that as a thing done. I mean, it should be a button. I pressed it all out. Anyway, cool. Now, this tries to use geography language, please, family. There's some lists here. If you look at the screen, that's descriptive. Use descriptive language and not derogative language when you're communicating with brothers and sisters, Black people. That is all right. So, what is Black Betterment? Well, Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. That's what it is. If you do that, you're practicing it. That's right. Cool. So, we promote the lifestyle Black Betterment here. All right. We're going to show some videos today. Definitely going to show. Doesn't belong to us, but we're using it for training purposes. So, please be merciful. Now, Black Betterment, let me just put that there. If you can follow the Instagram page, I'm gonna put it in here. Please do. That's a good thing to do. Voila. That'll be helpful. And we use that to promote the show and ideas. Now we move to our actual task at hand. We have two very important topics today that we are going to cover. So let's try to cover them today. Now, unfortunately, what you might have seen, and let me get my notes up. Now, where are my notes? How is that possible that my notes are not there? Hold on. Wait a minute. Really? Is that have I? Who did that? All right. So let me just quickly open up my doc. So yeah. So unfortunately, those of you who've seen, unfortunately, I think in Surrey, it was in Surrey. There was a young girl who was attacked by a European family, a white family. Some say they were travelers. I'm not too sure. Either way, I think it was shocking. What it was is she was going to school or outside school, and what followed was three sisters or family members attacking this young sister. And what was shocking is it sounds like her mum and her aunt or something in the background is giving them directions how to attack and beat up the sister. Now, the sister obviously was doing really good for herself, to be honest. She was taking them out and all that. But either way, she was jumped by three individuals. And what happened is it went on for a long time. No one stepped in, and finally the headmaster and some other teachers from the school came by, and they had a very nonchalant, blasé way of stopping it. And this obviously, what was promised. What we're gonna do? Matter of fact, let me play the videos while I actually sort out this stuff here. All right, cool. Where is this? So we're gonna look at page first that will make this make more sense. So let's click on that.
Video that has been circulating on social media where a young black girl was violently, aggressively attacked in the middle of the road in Surrey, Ashton, in Surrey. I understand that there is going to be a protest at that school this afternoon from 2:30. For all of you that have been inboxing the Black Child Agenda, that is what's taking place right now. If you want to write a letter, go to their website. It is Thomas Nevitt, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, College in Ashford in Surrey. And it's a TW postcode, so look out for the right one. They are part of an academy trust, which is the Howard Partnership Academy Trust. They have about 10 board members and 4 members. However, this violent, aggressive attack that took place, look, this is the girl's hair on the floor. This man here is the head teacher. These two have come from the school. Now, there was shouting. You can hear, if you've seen the video, you can hear all the shouting that was going on. You can hear the mother saying, kick her in the face, kick her in the head. They were ripping out this girl's hair from her roots. And this man strolled round with no sense of urgency, no sense of interest. Imagine if this is what's happening outside of the school. You can only imagine what type of violence and aggressive behaviour towards black students are going on inside the school. And the complicit nature in how this has been handled. The fact that you as a head teacher are seen just standing here, doing nothing to support this child. As you can see her hair on the floor, you can see these people punching and kicking her, and you've done nothing to support her. Mr. Beeson, I think right now you as the head teacher, I don't think you're fit to be a head teacher. I think you should stand down pending further investigation by your board of trustees. The board of trustees need to investigate this whole matter. Please ensure that this young lady is being given counselling, support for the trauma that she has faced, because this is not going to end just because it's no longer on social media. She has to live with this trauma. Please ensure that this young person is home educated until this investigation is closed. She should not have to attend your school, because if this is what's going on directly outside your school gates with one of your children who you have failed to safeguard in school uniform, I can only imagine what goes on inside the school. She is not safe in the care of Thomas Nevitt College. Another school needs to be found for her, and she needs to be protected, because we know what certain communities are like when it comes to violence on our streets.
Thank you very much.
This is wholly unacceptable. Yep. And the community will be coming to visit you, the whole school, today. Okay, right. They will be silently protesting and letting this young lady know that we feel her, we understand, and we're here to support her and her family. If you want to contact us as an organisation for legal support, please do so. Find us on all socials at...
Yeah, so and then what happened after that then, community went down, including members of the Forever family. And I think they have another thing here. Let's check.
Why are you not protecting?
Why are you standing there?
So many incidents that's happened inside the school.
Well, big up the community, big up the men, big up the women who went down there to show support. It's very important, that this kind of stuff won't be tolerated. We have noticed a lot of black girls being some kind of debauchery happening to black girls. We've covered it in Hackney and some other places. Just the disregard of black students in general, but we're more focused on black women at this point, black girls. So let's go on.
I've reported 5 times about this same issue. Nothing about it.
That's
3 weeks I'm going to the head teacher to meet me.
Let me tell you. Don't do nothing. One voice. Yeah? No, don't. You will be saying no one touch me. I'm mad. Let me be mad. Let him be mad and talk. Let him talk. Excuse me. Let him talk. One voice. Let him talk. You ignore me. Okay, don't ignore me. One voice. No, bro. I'm here. No, bro. I'm here for my reason, innit? Yeah. I drove from where I drove from to deal with people like you. Yes. What I saw, my brother, was if it was a little white girl getting beaten up by all us black people, you know, would have been guy out the car with a jumped out. What I saw yesterday and how I see your attitude was not England that I know. You're not being helpful.
No, the head teacher is not here and he still works.
What they're saying is there don't seem to be that much of an urgency about these things, and it's a consistent thing. So that's what this video is about. And now this is the police. After all this happened, this was the police statement.
I wanted to bring you this update as we continue to investigate a serious racially aggravated assault outside a school in Ashford. I want you to know that we've arrested 5 people. 4 on suspicion of attempted racially aggravated GBH. 2 of these people were also arrested on suspicion of child neglect and for encouraging an offence to be committed. The victims continue to receive specialist support from officers, and I can confirm that 1 has been to hospital and received treatment for injuries sustained during the attack. A 15-year-old girl is still wanted in connection with this assault on suspicion of racially aggravated harassment. She knows she is wanted. We are working hard to find her, and we ask her to come forward. The video of the assault is...
I think that's another issue as well, that not only did the police take, or the teachers didn't really make any effort to break it up, or anyone did, but then the people just walk away afterwards. Oh, sorry, let me press play. Sorry, what's going on?
Incredibly distressing. I understand that people may want to share this footage to raise awareness, but I'm requesting the video isn't shared further for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's incredibly upsetting to the victims and their family and friends to see such footage. They've been through enough. And secondly, it's critical to any future court case that it is not distributed more widely, as there is a risk it could prejudice a trial or hearing. We've obtained the original video as evidence and are building a case to put to the Crown Prosecution Service.
For those who didn't see the video, it's like I said, the video, I'm not going to really play the video that I got, but the one I saw, the attack happened so long that it was edited on different streets, it looked like, and a piece of the hair was missing of the young sister in Rob's head.
Finally, I urge anyone with additional footage or images, such as dash cam, CCTV, helmet cam, to get in contact with us via direct message so that we can provide you with a link to upload it.
All right, and what's next, Ola?
And let me just let you see what's been said, because at the end of the day...
They're saying MP call for government investigation into horrific beating of black schoolgirl.
The school has had a history of violence, racism.
I've heard that this particular school seems to have quite a history of racism. I have seen that around.
Incidents where parents have taken their children out because of the racism that's taken place in the school. And, you know, Monday's vicious and violent and aggressive racist attack was the final straw. Parents have been complaining for a long time. The school have not been listening. Parents aren't sure what to do or where to go. And this has been continuing. Now the MPs, over 30 MPs, have called for something to be done with regards to the school. The school should be put in special measures. That head teacher needs to be fired, not even stand down. You need to be fired. How dare you treat our children like this and expect to get away with it? Monday was your last day of actually treating our black children like as if their lives don't matter. We keep talking about Black Lives Matter. I know to you guys they don't, but to us they do. We will protect our children. We will continue to protect our children. This has gone global. People are sickened. As I said in my last video, imagine what's going on. And I can
this is from the Black Child Agenda.
only imagine what's going on when the cameras aren't rolling, when within the school, when people can't see what you're doing to those black children. This is a round of applause from us at the Black Child Agenda.
It's okay. Someone could try and talk to the one of the people who work there.
Children, how are you going to stop this? We've been trying to contact your school via the phone to get some information on how you're going to support
the body demeanor of all these teachers. It really is very telling, to be fair.
the children. How are you going to stop this? What you're putting in place to stop things from like this happening? We haven't been able to get through. Answer phones seem to be switched off. How can we communicate with you guys?
We are recording all of the messages and emails.
The mailbox is full. We can't get through.
We are responding to them. Unfortunately, we've got lots of phone messages that have come through. And we're systematically working through and responding to each person that's called or emailed. My colleague who'll be out in a minute is individually working through and phoning and responding to those.
What's your colleague coming out to do?
My colleague is here as part of being here to respond to anyone that wants to talk, but she's currently making returning phone calls and responding.
Is she going to hide behind an ongoing investigation and I can't comment, or is she actually going to give some answers?
No, we're not able to comment on anything.
So what?
There you go. Let's see some other news.
What was that? We got video of that? Video? Everybody mentioned it, they complained to the school, and that's the first thing she said when she rang. She was like, nobody helped me, everybody watched me, and then the teacher had the audacity to laugh. His name is Bellamy?
Oh, Mr. Bellamy!
Mr. Bellamy. He had the audacity to laugh.
Mr. Bellamy needs to...
So,
Mr. Bellamy!
That's a big up respect there from her family. So basically, yeah, so what we saw in the video that happened afterwards is that she was left alone. No one supported her. And I think even one teacher was even laughing about it. Never good, never good, never good.
You don't
Quick news report.
Place that children are supposed to feel safe and protected. Fear and anger that they're anything but.
You don't care. You don't feel the pain. When I saw that little girl, all I saw was my sister.
Frustration has been building here all day after a video began circulating online that's so violent we can only show it to you in parts. Close to a school in Ashford, a schoolgirl was surrounded. She was kicked and punched, and her braids were pulled. The adult you can hear doesn't help. In fact, they appear to be shouting techniques on how to attack the girl. Today, people marched to her school to show their support and to say this video highlights a problem that the school needs to address.
These are children that you're teaching them to be racist. They're not racist. It's what the school is teaching them.
Them kids are in there, they don't feel secure. And that head teacher, they wrote a statement that day in the school. Why didn't you call us? And I don't care if something didn't happen. They call my auntie all the time for my little cousin, for the littlest things. She gets her phone taken. And I'm thinking now, are you calling the school because you know she's going to get are you calling in because you know she's going to get punished? Or are you calling because you care? Because this time you wrote a statement, why didn't you tell us? And on top of that, she had a crowd following her when she left the school. You're telling me you didn't see the crowd?
I cried and I was angry. And I still feel so much anger. But I just need change. Justice needs to be served. And it needs to happen. And you know what? I'm glad that this school is being named and shamed because it's been about time.
Surrey police say they're treating it as a racially motivated attack. 5 people have been arrested.
It is disturbing. It is disturbing. But to watch that, again, not just as a police officer, but also as a parent and as a human being, you know, I was a little disappointed with your actions of some of the public in the area at the time.
The school have released a statement saying they're taking all the necessary steps to deal with this incident. And the local MP has tweeted to say it's vital that children are safe at school and in their local community.
Sure. Well, yeah, so like I said, unfortunately, you're seeing a black student racially targeted, jumped by a family, parents giving advice on how to attack, passers-by passing by, teachers slowly intervening, letting the culprits get away, laughing at the downfall of the young sister there. Very, very terrible, very terrible. But what we can say is big up to the community who went down there, big up to Ferry family, big up to the local and people who travel from far, just to let the sister know their support and let them know. Because once again, if that didn't happen, the chances are this would just be a TikTok video and it would have been another day. So well done. So big up to them. Big up to them. So today's show family is, let's go to the thing. Where are we? So, are black children protected at school? Black Betterment Broadcast. I should have removed that. Yeah, so are black children protected at school? Well, it's something we have to really discuss and it's something we have to highlight. If you need to talk to your kids as well. If they're going to school, you need to find out how they're doing. You want to be aware. You know, you definitely want to find out if any kind of bullying is going on, name calling. You know, it could be anything. How they look, the hairstyle, anything like that. You really want to engage and find out. You don't want to find out that your kid comes home with bruises and marks, and this is what's happening. We live in the age of video cameras now, so we're seeing the horrors unpack as we see them, and obviously it's never good to see that. So, but they are being documented, and when they are, we have to always follow up. And just like this school, you know, there has to be answers to the behavioral pattern, because what we're seeing is. This might have been an everyday occurrence. The behavioral pattern might have been something that is seen as culturally normal. The blasé-ness of how people to even try to stop anything, and you know, students just coming in, attacking when they want. Who knows? So you need to do these things. It's never good. And I'm sure if you have kids, you are concerned. And I'm sure this goes on in many places. Also, I assume in that part of Surrey, maybe black people are definitely the minority. I assume. So it's something we have to be aware of. But yeah, welcome, Brother Kel, to the show. Welcome.
Welcome, Brother Raven. Black Betterment.
Black Betterment, indeed. Were you aware of this story at all, family?
Oh, yeah, in Birmingham, brother, there's been a loads of talks and solutions, particularly in the Handsworth region. So, yeah, and there's loads of podcasts that the Brum podcast creators are doing a lot of talk, as well as the London and the Manchester. So it's definitely a network thing.
Yeah.
Some people from Brom went down to the place as well, because some people joined up with Brother Aspects, his organisation. So it's known. Yeah.
That is good. That is good. Family, if anyone wishes to join and talk on the topic, feel free. What is wrong with my machine? I've put. There we go. Yeah, got it. Yeah, I've put a link in the. Where is it? Black Betterment link. Let me pin it now. Press the pin button. There we go. Pin message. Feel free to jump in as long as you're constructive and you follow the 4D values. Do you have a child you might want to talk about? Has anything happened to you? Did this go on when you were going to school? Were you aware such things happened? Is it extra shocking to see children, especially girls, being attacked and edged on by mothers and aunts and this kind of thing? Never good. We're going to stick with this topic, but yeah, let us know. We've pushed the link out there. If you've got anything you want to say, any question you want to ask about, let us know. Follow. We've put some links in there. Let's get the name right.
Black Child Agenda.
The Black Child Agenda, that's what they're called. Black Child Agenda. So follow them on TikTok as well as Instagram. Them sisters are covering and offering support. But yeah, it's never good to see. Yeah. And yeah, can we not make jokes as well in the forum?
Yeah.
If possible. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, to be honest, Brother Raven, the Race Relation Act 1965, man. We spoke about this many times, brother. It's been broken. When you read the legislation, the first piece of legislation in the UK addresses the prohibition of racial discrimination, followed previously unsuccessful bills that act to ban racial discrimination in public places, and made the promotion of hatred on the grounds of color, race, or ethnic national origins. Now, brother, this is 1965, bro. We're in 2023. So we're at a stage now is that if these laws are going to be broken, and because we don't have power,
yes,
and they know this as well, this is the wickedest thing about it, is that when you know that the people collectively don't have power, we're going to bully them. We're going to do what we want and change the laws. Something has to be done. And I'll be honest with you, bro, like the Brixton riots, Wolverhampton riots, Manchester riots, the Birmingham one, that linked together, but that may have to come back. I know it's a bit like horrific for some people, but I mean, something's got to give, bro, man. That may have to come back.
We can expand that in the sense of if people feel that they can harm women, children, and in the community and get away with it, then they will.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very important that the brothers and sisters drove out there to Surrey to let them know that you can't practice racism and mistreat children.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's normal. And don't get me wrong, I have no idea the family involved. They would need to be apprehended and charged, or whatever. But something that we can't neglect is the ease of which they did it and how the people who you pay to look after your children seem to be nonchalant. And that's a consistent theme that I'm seeing here, that a lot of people claim that they have this kind of like lack of energy, concern, or even any attempt at trying to appease the issue. It's almost like, what's going on? This is like every day, right? There's been some other, I can't play some stuff. There's been some other videos I've seen of younger students who are older now complaining, saying when I went there was the same thing, and there was even one boy that I saw on the same channel here say they sent him back to Jamaica because the school was complaining a lot, but he was saying he was a victim of racism and no one really took him serious. So so who knows? But it's
and the strength of the black girls, which resonates the strength of the black woman. Her resilience, bro, was phenomenal. The way how she maneuvered, grabbed one, docked. This is powerful, brother, man. This is strength. But at the same time, if we modify it back that she was a little girl and they did nothing, so we may have to, as a community, bring back certain mindsets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that many black girls will face is, and I guess just like how when they see young black boys, they see big black men. They probably it's the same thing for the women, and the concern seems to not really come forward as we see consistently in many of these videos. I mean, even if you go to America, where the name slips me, but there was the young girl who was killed by the North American, no, they're not North American. What's that place? Korean. Yes. Natasha. Yeah, I think that's right. If anyone knows your name, just post the name of the thing.
In the 90s, you're on about the 90s, isn't it?
In the 90s, I think Tupac was thinking about something like this.
Yeah,
and I think so. Let's just give some context because it does really correlate. There was a young lady, young child who went to a Korean store to buy some kind of orange juice or something, and what happened is she put the money on the counter and walked away. But allegedly, the North Korean shopper said she didn't see the counter, so she then attacked the woman from behind. The girl then got hit, turned around and slapped her back, as in, "Why are you attacking me?" And as the girl tried to walk away, the North Korean woman shot her in the back of the head and killed her. But the issue was the white judge said this was fair defense, fair stand your ground, this kind of stuff, and the North Korean lady walked free while obviously the black child was murdered. And then obviously a few days later, the community went and completely shut the store down and this kind of stuff, which was correct, of course. That's another thing. You find that you have non-black people in black areas who do not respect black people so much that it's nothing for them to kill your daughters. You see, it's like it's nothing for them to kill your daughters. Like she thought allegedly she thought she was stealing orange, so maybe stealing orange is worthy of death. Also, she thought that when she attacked her, the girl attacked her back. This is also worthy of death to them. Now, the reason why you have to have proper community is because a real community person will know the mother of that child, will be able to reason. There will be no thieving anyway, as there wasn't then at that particular time, but you will know the actions of your community. But when you have disdain for people, then you're more likely to take your gun and shoot them. And as we segue back to here, if you kind of disdain for people, you always watch their daughters get beat up and just, reluctantly intervene, and this kind of thing. So, yeah, but well done to the community who's doing, I guess, what Brother Kel's saying is that realizing enough is enough and taking certain actions to our own hands. Very shocking.
Yeah, that's the only thing they're scared of, bro. I mean, as I said, man, we've grown up with riots and I've seen it with my own eyes, the police, we're together, it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? And then they're going to use an unsynchronized African descendant to calm us all down, and it goes back. They know if these people keep going, we're going to have to get more armies, and they know, man. They know.
And what Brother Cal was saying there, so for those who don't know, there's a strategy that the anti-black racists will always try to do. And that is whenever black people are frustrated with certain consistent anti-black behaviors, they'll get a unsynchronized black person to go on the camera or on stage and try to, cool people down, but in a way where no justice is produced, you see? And that's why understanding coded language and how to be uncoded, and also recognizing that, yes, all black people are one, we are family when it comes to this idea of working together. But what's more important than just someone's blackness, their physical shell of blackness, is their mindset. You see, what is it? What ideologies do they subscribe to that is beneficial to black collective? You see, and that's why whenever you have any organization coming up, you can ask them, "What are your views on Black Love? What are your views on Black economics?" Those two questions alone will let you know if that organization has any interest in black betterment, or black progression, or black anything, because you'll find that many of the ones that become extremely famous and mainstream, they have no interest in Black love. They have no interest in Black economics. They're more about talking to the power in a subservient way, saying, we don't like pain, these kind of things, right? So you understand that if you want power to do it yourself, and that's very, very important. Anyone in the crowd, anything you want to say, let us know. If have you experienced bullying in your youth? If you have children, do you talk to them? Have you any stories that you would like to share? Were you aware that these things went on? Now we're in the age of camera ages, so now, fortunately and unfortunately, you will see many more incidents of anti-black treatment that will go on. But now you can capture on camera, so we can actually unpack it and try to find solutions for it. And once again, we always have to give thanks to the brothers and sisters who saw the challenge and went down there, especially the men. The reason why it's very important, because we have to big up the men, is because we have to. A way you destroy a people is by destroying a man, and there's certain roles that men historically have done, and providing and protecting is one of them, but more emphasis on the protecting. So to have men turn up when children are harmed, especially girls, optically it's very important, especially for the girl herself, to know that even though she might be in an area where there isn't too many brothers and sisters around, that people will travel far and wide if they see mistreatment going on. So big up to the brothers and the sisters, but especially the men, because this is part of Black Betterment. We try to push out behavioral patterns that we can learn, and it can become learned through osmosis and training and just constantly repeating. And one of the things is that emphasis on Black men protecting Black women and Black children. Very important. It can't be understated, and it should be a codified thing. There should be something that is culturally normal, and something that if we don't do it, we almost feel shamed, not completely shamed. So we have to big up the brothers and sisters who went down there, especially big up the Fred family guys as well. Brother Respect went down there, so big up to him, and he's been covering it. If you check him out on Instagram, he's there as well. Very good. So this is very, very shocking. But as I think there was some videos, pictures released of the child, but I don't think it was correct, because they showed a child who had bruises, but I don't think she had that much bruise. I think it was more her hair was pulled out and she might have had a bump. So it wasn't as severe as some of the things I've seen, but I don't know. Things are still coming out, so we'll as we find out, we'll let you know. But it's a shame. It's a shame, really. So yeah, family, we'll come back to this in a bit. But if any questions you want about this, let us know. Any scenarios, feel free to jump in and say. Now, what we're going to do, now this is kind of intertwined, but naturally, whenever these things are going on, you're going to hear Black people talk about, well, maybe there needs to be some kind of reform, or maybe there needs to be some kind of Black teaching, Black schools, this kind of thing, because this is a more guarantee that the children be safe. I understand the logic behind that. I see how that can work. But naturally, when you try to talk these things, there will always be someone who tries to stop you, right? So that's why we're moving into a very important word I'm going to push forward into the lexicon out there. And that's this concept of equity exploitation. Equity exploitation. Now, what is that? I think we covered it a few weeks back. I can't remember, but we're going to unpack it now, right? So what is equity exploitation, and how is it used to undermine Black progress? Let's learn this, shall we? So let's break down the words. Equity, the quality of being fair and impartial. And then what is exploitation? The action or fact of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. As you all know, Black people are probably the biggest workers in the planet, in the sense of there's many Black workers who do tremendous jobs consistently, but you tend to find that many Black workers are working for non-Black people and non-Black institutions and ideas. So the overall goal is, how do we get Black people to work for Black people and Black issues? Very important. But one of the reasons why we might not have as many Black industries and Black businesses, there's a multitude of reasons, but one of them might be because of peer pressure, and this comes down to what I call equity exploitation. So what you see on here is, if you look, for those who have cameras in that, there's a picture of I'm going to say they're Somali or Trinidad family. It looks like from Black, I don't know, right? So what is there's the picture that one says equality, right? And basically there's men or boys or people of different sizes, and they're all given the same box to stand on top of to see a game of baseball, or let's say it's cricket for this thing, yeah. And obviously not everyone can really see it the same, because some are a bit shorter. So obviously this brother on the right cannot see. This brother on the right is not even coming. Yeah, this guy here. So this is what they. So this is how equality is kind of working for Black people. You see, It's always good to have symbolic imagery because it helps you explain things much easier and it works for your mind as well. So how equality works is giving people what they need to thrive. So that means that this brother here, the tall brother, he doesn't need a box to see the game because he can see the game. But this short brother here. Now, I want us to imagine that the boxes is something that black people had in the past, but it was taken away. See? It was taken away. Yeah, it was taken away. So just like there's tons of examples, whatever. It was taken away, right? So when we talk about equality, I think we're now talking about when you talk about reparations and black people doing their own thing, whatever. This is now equity, yeah. It's doing what's right, so the people who are involved have an equal playing field. Because at the moment, collectively, black people don't. So, but what happens is whenever you talk about and you'll see me in Speaker's Corner doing it, whenever you talk about equity or equality, you'll have a non-black person or unsynchronized black person, and they'll say, well, hold on a minute, if you get one box, we should get one box. We should all get one box. You see, that's equality. But we need equity, right? Now, I'm saying that equity comes in the form of either reparations or black betterment, or both, to be fair, right? Black people work with black people, as well as anything that's owed accrued to us through mistreatment and theft and robbery coming. I don't believe that any non-black person will pay this at the moment. You have to get an economic base and a power base before they even take you seriously, these kind of claims. However, it's still due. So what if ever you're in a situation, myself, you are out there debating or talking, and you're talking about black betterment, black businesses, and someone tries to make you feel that what you're saying is racist or everyone needs to get the same thing or blah, blah. This is a form of equity exploitation, you see. That's what it is. We now give it a word. This is our brother, this is equity exploitation, and it's not going to work, right? You're exploiting equity here, and it's like, you know, we want equity. We want what's taken away and balanced back, because right now our community is not the same. Yeah, so it's very important that we know what we're dealing with. I've got a quick video. I won't play all of it. This is it's just the ending. This is a few weeks ago about talking about reparations.
Have done wrong to us. You know, we put the Nazi leaders on trial for their sake and executed a lot of them because of the wrongs they did. We, when it suits us, do demand action. We do demand apologies. We do demand compensation. I think that, you know, we have to do the right thing. You know, as you mentioned, much of Britain's wealth, in fact, the whole process of industrialization in this country, which made Britain great, was based upon the wealth extracted from the slave colonies. So I think, you know, it is fair and reasonable that we should make some attempt to redress those wrongs in the past. And in particular, the fact that the legacy of slavery isn't 200 years ago. It is still in these societies today. They're under development. They're being, the way they're being held back has in part, not in totality, but in part been due to the imposition of a slave economy from them. And when slavery was abolished, it meant that those countries were unprepared and unable to easily adapt. So
we're going to stop it there, but the brother, the individual there explains, you know, the challenge, whatever. And what happens is everyone disagrees apart from obviously the Caribbean brother, and they've got unsynchronized black brother at the bottom right there. But basically they go, but what's mentioned towards the end, and that's what I'm saying, towards the end, that you're always going to be dismissed when you try to get these kind of equal claims, and you can tell it in the demeanor, the attitude. So just quickly watch the last 7 seconds of the lady to the bottom left.
Well, first of all, the comparison with the Nazis is invalid because we were punishing the people who themselves had carried out the atrocities at that time that we were in a position to do so. We weren't punishing their descendants 200 years later. It is a ludicrous analogy and is done simply to try and stir up emotions.
So what happens when people try to compare the Ma'afa, which is the Black Holocaust, to the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust? A lot of non-black people, unsynchronized people get angry, even though you never want to compare wounds, but black people suffer for much longer and haven't recovered from the tremendous exploitation that happened for over 400 years. But anyway, the reason we're playing this is because it's just letting you know that collectively black people have no friends, as you know, as we start. Great statement to start with, but also you have to be aware of whenever they try to demean or undermine any claim for betterment. And when it comes to you work for yourself, receiving reparations. And whenever this happens, it is equity exploitation. You see, they're trying to make you think that it's wrong. one of a quick video now. This is interesting. Just random thing here. There's a woman who her family were enslavers, and they made 300 million. No, they were paid 300 million, but they made much more than that. Much more than that. So they'll pay 300 million when slavery was demolished, and I think she's realized that it's not nice, and she's tried to go to Grenada, I think it is, to pay her personal reparations back. So we're just going to see what this we're going to unpack this for a bit. Quick 1 minute video, whatever, or maybe 2 minutes, of a European lady who her fortune comes from the history of enslaving African people. So,
Laura Trevelyan is a member of an aristocratic British family who will begin the payback process. She has announced that her family will contribute £100,000 to a fund to pay reparations to the people of Grenada for her family's involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. This has been widely regarded as one of the cruelest crimes against humanity. This comes months after confronting her ancestral past during a visit to Grenada last year. It was then that she learned that 6 of her ancestors shared ownership of over 1,000 enslaved Africans on the island. She met recently with historian Dr. Nicole Philip Dow, who is the vice chair of the Grenada National Reparations Commission.
We have Reverend George Trevelyan, Harriet Trevelyan, John Trevelyan. So this is showing us that my ancestors owned what looks like hundreds of slaves on Grenada.
Another thing, it's just probably just something to be aware of. When Europeans talk about enslaved peoples, I think there's a language, and maybe I'm wrong this, I don't know, you have to unpack it. There's a language they use that keeps black people non-human, and I think referring to black enslaved humans as slaves, I think we need to, when it coming from the European or the non-black person, watch that, because we in return should then be calling her ancestors rapers, enslavers, and murderers. You see, can you see how but they'll call them slave masters, or slave owners or whatever. Right? So just keep that in mind.
The Tempe Estate, the Simon Estate, the
Rucan Estate,
Lassagers, 5 different estates.
5 different estates, yes.
My relatives owned hundreds of slaves and received thousands of pounds in compensation when slavery was abolished in 1834.
Yes.
1835, the Trevelyan family received the equivalent of £3 million in compensation from the British government for the abolition.
Just break down there. The British government gave this family today's equivalent of £3 million. Today she realised that's bad, and she's investing £100,000 eventually, as time goes by, I think, to a reparations committee or something like this, right? So just think of that, right? So they were given 3 million, £100 a day, but plus there's a legacy of how much was made throughout the years and stuff. Well, like I said, we support any kind of remembrance, but regardless of what non-black people do, that's their own thing, and at no point should that change your perception of the mission or of non-black people as the collective statement that collectively black people have no friends, because sometimes these things happen and we get off and we start talking about the good person who does this and that, and we start equating it to a collective. There is no collective that wants to pay back reparations, but more of the time when you talk about it, they will do, as we were discussing today, a form of equity exploitation. You see, they will not want you to do it, or they'll minimize what you're trying to get. So please be aware of that. Very important, very important. Now, family, let's welcome. Big up Dave. I think Dave is joining the show. Can you? Is it Dave? Is it Dave or Dave? Dev. Sorry. Oh, Dev. Hi, Dev. Welcome, Dev.
How are we doing? What's up, guys?
Good. Good. Today we're covering 2 topics, brother. We're covering, are black children protected at school, and what is equity exploitation, how it's used to undermine black progress.
Wow. Yeah, I just wanted to address the video that you just showed there pertaining to Grenada and reparation thing.
Please do, yeah, please do.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Grenada. I'm a Grenadian, yeah.
Okay.
And I believe we have been cheated big time. And £100,000, that's about 400,000 EC.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not pleased with that because of what her family have done to my ancestors. And you want to come and throw £100,000 as if you're so sorry for what has been done. You're supposed to give it over everything that you own to the people of Grenada because you benefit from it and still benefiting. And I have to deal with my Grenadian brothers, Mr. Ali Gill and Nicole Phillip, which is my sister there, accepting this slap in the face as a good gesture. And they plan to put it in a fund and to give scholarship to. This shit is grieving me a lot because they didn't come to the people to find out what needs to be done with that money. They decide on their own. See what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of family in Grenada who can do with that money where cost of living is so high nowadays. Yeah? And they want to take it and put it in a fund and open up an art gallery or some whatever it is. And there are a lot of families in Grenada that need that money right now. Need that money that can help them in many different ways. And you want to give scholarship and put it in a fund, and I'm really pissed off about that. And the thing that getting me under my skin is that they never hold a consultation with the people. We saw it on television, and it's a good gesture, and it's like, you sound like an Uncle Tom, man. And I was very pissed about that because I thought they would have, and I know both of them, Nicole and Ali, and I thought they would have come to the people and said, look, someone is going to, pay a parish 100,000. What do you think we should do with it? I mean, because the people's money is not your money.
Yeah.
But nothing, they're behaving like the politician, man. Nothing like that. They already decide what they're going to do with it. So that just told me that they could say they put it here and put it there. And we have no proof about it. Because now the family member would get it, like get a literal cash. They could say, well, we buy up this, we give this scholarship, And that is what pissing me off. And this is something that, Grenadians should step up about and get angry about. But I think we are so on a high about the new prime minister and other things that kind of getting swept under the carpet a bit, because it passed in the news this week and people not really mentioning about it.
Was it something that was on Grenadian TV?
Yes, yeah, GBN, yeah.
And is this something you see often? Europeans or any family who owned enslaved?
No, this is the first one that publicly. We don't know if any are did behind the scene and they don't want to be noticed or whatever.
Well, let me. I think where is it? So let me play the last minute because I think it tells you what they're going to put on. So let's hear. Hold on.
Breathe the year before. Enslaved men, women, and children got nothing and were forced to work a further 8 years unpaid as apprentices. Trevelyan was shocked to discover the role her ancestors played in the slave trade industry, which she described as
a system of profit built off torture.
Yes.
Now, would you say that the system worked for those who were the recipients of the wealth?
Yes, it worked. It did. It worked for those who received the wealth.
According to a report on TheGuardian.com on Saturday, 42 family members have also signed a letter of apology for their ancestors' role in slavery. It reads, and I quote, "We, the undersigned, write to apologize for the actions of our ancestors in holding your ancestors in slavery. Slavery was and is unacceptable and repugnant. Its damaging effects continue to the present day. We repudiate our ancestors' involvement in it." End quote. The Trevelyan's monetary contribution will go towards the setting up of a reparations research fund at the University of the West Indies to look into the economic impact of enslavement. It will be officially launched here on February 27 by Chair of the CARICOM Reparations Commission, Sir Hilary Beckles, and members of the Trevelyan family. For GBN News.
There you go. So it says 100,000, I believe, but they've made how much? Is it 3 million? They got from the government, and I wouldn't know how much they would have made overall. I mean, they probably made a lot. I mean, yeah, you had what they had thousands of enslaved people for generations, right? So, and then I think they mentioned there that they had to work for what the enslaved Africans had to work for 8 more years after they allegedly dismantled the system. So I mean, all that. Well, I mean, this is important. This is why we say you have to understand that collectively Black people have no friends, because it's only understanding that you can actually start having self-reliance. You see, you have to have fully self-reliance. And every video I've ever seen on reparations on UK TV, they've always put an unsynchronized Black person and some other non-Black person to shoot down whoever they've got speaking about reparations and stuff, and try to say that, you know, a lot of the things they'll say is, oh, that happened in the past. And this kind of thing. But yeah, there you go.
Brother, Reverend, that's why we were deciding, and I feel that the reparation should be a unified one, and that, like how we're on these panels globally, that we should all write a list, and it shouldn't just be money.
Yes.
It should be other stuff, like, for example, you know, the Dungaree Company in the Caribbean. People forget about that. You know, the Dungaree, you know, that family, the the Brooks brothers, they've profited so much from the Caribbean and the Americas, you know. So, you know, when we say that, let's not, you know, individualize reparation, unify, it will stop this woman from saying, oh, we're going to give this amount to Grenada. But if we all bully them strategically and say, no, unify the reparation, we want psychological reparation, you know what I mean? We want, you know, not just money, we want land, resources, etc. And the IMF loan be destroyed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are the things, man. Unification.
No, I hear that.
But you see, Kel, that is a wonderful thing. But when the government is not part and parcel with the reparation organization who's trying to get reparation, you have a sort of stick in the middle. Because you talk about the IMF debts being canceled and all of that. That will have to go through the government. See what I'm saying? And the government will have to send that request. And you don't, and if you realize there's a committee there, a reparation committee that, you know, and they was asking for apology. Yeah, they wasn't asking for money. They was asking because when William and his so-called wife was supposed to come here, and they wanted an apology, not no monetary, you know, thing. You know, they wanted an apology. He has to apologize for, and he decided he not coming again. Same thing with Jamaica.
Yep.
So they're asking for apology, not for properties and these type of things. So you have to understand, state your facts. What exactly do you want? No wonder why. No wonder why she gave £100,000 because she feels she's doing a favor now. Because you didn't state your facts and say what you want. You ask for apology.
But that's what I was saying, Alder, the unifying reparation. You see, this is going to restrict them because we've got to be realistically, as you said, the non-African people and that they'll do anything to individualize, to lessen what they're supposed to give out, and if we're more disorganized as we are, unfortunately, we're giving them the reason, as you said. But if we who have these platforms from now on, and a lot of us are connected to political figures, if we start, as I said, start small at least. Okay, what do we want for reparation while we're giving reparation to one another by helping each other out, of course. Write down a list, land, this, that. You know what I mean? This will help, and if we keep pushing it forward, demand and don't give up, etc., and we got our list and we're firm in that, then we can make a change. We can collectively.
Yeah. So I can't blame the woman, even though I'm mad at her. I can't blame her totally because they didn't come and say, well, because she acknowledged, she know what they did, she read all the documents, and she know now we have to come to say, hey, look, this is what we want for our compensation.
Yeah.
XYZ, XYZ, whatever the case is. But
Exactly, yeah.
now she feels she's doing us a favor by giving us £100,000. And they're gonna have her come in, I think at the end of the month or so, to give the donation and to come and make a so-called speech and then come, and they go put up, oh, that is one of those that is so sorry. She's so sorry that she gave £100,000, and really, really now, really. Because we open up that door for that to happen. We open that door because we don't know what we want.
Yeah. You definitely have to have some consensus and start to talk. There was a list of the 5 things of a reparation. I wish I should have downloaded it. I saw a sister talking about the 5 things. I think the apology was the last thing, but the apology came with a caveat that the apology is also a guarantee that this can and will never happen again. It's a guarantee that this act can't ever happen again. But it was
that should be in paper writing.
Yeah.
That should be a document.
I'm trying to find that list that I should have written down somewhere. But my sister was talking about some show about the 5 things needed. So there was land, there was there was obviously cash, there was land, there was education, and then there was a guarantee doesn't repeat, and maybe one other thing I can't remember. But this was what I saw somewhere.
And
But you see,
go ahead, Kyle.
Well, you see, Brother Raven, the sister, she dictated some amazing point. But you see, guarantee it will never happen again. Remember in the beginning of the show, brother, the Race Relation Act 1965.
Yes.
That happened again. you understand? So it tells us, brother, that we're going to have some form of military power to make sure it doesn't happen again. You see, when you have that collective of, if you touch any of us and people are scared of that calms people down, especially being non-African. They don't want to lose their life and their economics. But if we just say an apology, they can break that, brother, because collectively they're more organized and they have more security. So we have to bear that in mind. Are we willing to, go to that length of, okay, let's go to war? No, it's horrific, but remember, words backed with power is more effective.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that we can't trust these people. They have been shown over the years, how they break how much treaties. So they cannot be trusted. And so you can take their word for it and even make it worse. Grenada is still run by the British.
Yeah.
So there you go. If she need any support, Britain's going to support her. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they alone, they alone could show you how she can play us for a fool. Because we still under those people colony, I would say. Grenada's still a colony.
Is it still a colony? Is that one
Yeah.
still?
Yeah, we still a colony, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah,
is
the
the one
the independence that we got,
yeah,
and that's what these politicians keep fooling these people with. It wasn't a people's independent. It
right.
was a political independent. What do I mean by that? Back when the colonizers was colonized Grenada, and they put up these puppets as the leaders for the people, they had to go to the colonizers and ask them permission if they want to do business with China, America, you know? And even though they tell them yes, they still have to send somebody with them to make sure what they're going and get is what they're going and get. So that is the independent Grenada got. So the politicians have freedom to make business decision with any country, not people politician. I mean, people independent, whereby because if they do that, they will have to lose control of Grenada. In other words, they're giving up their rights. So that's the independent we have. And for 49 years, we've been tricked, and a lot of us is under our emotions, and the politician keep selling us that Kool-Aid, and they keep drinking it. Just Tuesday gone, they had a big celebration in the stadium, Independence Day. I just look at all of them and laugh. And the politician, they know it. They know.
Thanks for that. So, family, today we cover two topics: are Black school children protected at school, and what is equity exploitation? How is it used under my Black progress? We just watched a video of a European lady who owned enslaved Africans, and she was paid £1 million, 3 million, sorry, a few years throughout as they tried to dismantle slavery, and she's going to dedicate 10,000. She's going to dedicate.
Yeah.
So after feeling, I think, guilty for the history of her family mistreating Black people, and we're just unpacking what that means and who gets to say something about it and how you should process that. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. Brother Dave, I'm just gonna mute you for a bit. I think you got a bit of a party vibe at the back, so I'm just gonna mute you for a bit.
Yeah, mute.
Brother. I think the brothers in Grenada, so a big up all the Grenadians. Also, any Caribbean brothers and sisters out there, if you're in the Caribbean and you're listening, or Africa, or in anywhere in the diaspora, you're listening. Let us know where you're from at the moment. It's always good to know where people are from. It's always good to know the politics that's going on, because like I said, we should be using digital technology to unite and to update and to support.
That's right.
But sometimes we don't know. So you can let us know where you're from. If you're from the States, you're from Canada, you might be based in France, Nigeria, Ethiopia, you name it. We're all here practicing Black betterment, and we want to unite and try to promote Black love and Black economics and do constructive things. But once again, we understand that it's a big collective out there in the interweb, in the world. And we know that it's going to be very challenging to convince many Black people who have been conditioned to practice anti-Black progress. And we have to have a way of operating that can help brothers and sisters see the way and see the benefit of being constructive and helping other Black people do progressional things. But unfortunately, there's only so far you can go. So we will have to understand that it's more about a smaller number who have better knowledge working for the greater good, you see. So, and you might be that small number. So maybe in each country it's 10% of the people who are welcome to what's needed. And if you're that 10% or that 5% or that 15% or whatever, let us know. Because what you're going to find is you'll see brothers like me and Brother Kel and some other brothers and sisters who go around and we go on shows of other African descendants, Black people, and this stuff. And sometimes we'll try to spread good information and ways to network. And before we can get anywhere, the programming starts, and then you have the anti-black races and the unsynchronization. And we spend a long time trying to convince black people the benefits of helping black people. But some of you just get it straight away. So if you do get it straight away, then you're the people we should be talking to, because we can get so much done with synchronized brothers and sisters than unsynchronized brothers and sisters, right? Oh, can you hear me now? Was it? Oh yeah, oh, you talk to the background, but yeah, right. So you might be a person who sees the benefits of black people helping black people, and what we try to do, we try to highlight the consistent, because sometimes many brothers and sisters are not really aware of the history of dedicated anti-black racism, like the dedicated history, and also we're not aimed with the tools to be able to identify when non-black people are getting on code and they're doing things that's in their collective best interest. Now, when we try to do things, as in we try to gain our own equity, right? And we broke down what equity is a few minutes back. All right. What is equity? Equity is the quality of being fair and impartial, right? Yeah. And what is exploitation? The action and fact of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. So we gave you the diagram where people keep using we want equality, but actually when a people group has been marginalized and many of their assets taken, as we'll spring to the brother from Grenada, as well as all the Caribbean or the diaspora or the colonized Africa, to be fair, you realize that actually equality isn't necessarily what we want. We want equity. Something was taken and needs to be given back, you see. So we can be back where we were, everyone can be on the same footing, take or give. So, but whenever we try to discuss equity, people say, well, that's not equality or that's not fair. And if I did that, that would be racist. Now, when that happens, I would be using the term that is equity exploitation. You're exploiting us in our attempts for equity, and it's a farce. We don't want equality because we want equity, because equality isn't going to get anyone anywhere, right? We want equity. We want what was taken back, and if they try to stop that, it's a form of exploitation. So just remember that fact, family. There. Where were we? Let me just go.
I was going to say, Brother Raven, that equity now, we could say it could come in like a trade of a union, right? On those principles, fairness. So if we were to design a Black Betterment Neighborhood Watch, for example, as under the unification of a union, and let's say, for example, we start a monthly trust, like every, to get the black men to help out the community, like a neighborhood watch, £10 a month from everyone, and also provide money for the youth, whether it be the females, the teenage females, or the teenage males, gym passes. So paying them for a gym pass, for them to kind of walk the little ones to school as a collective, bring them back, make sure they're safe, etc. as a community, and that could definitely work out.
So that's a good idea. This is a very good idea. I think having communities pay for certain things where we can hire people in the community to do certain activities, there is definitely a benefit in that, and that is something that we should sit down and talk about. And even like in the future time, create apps that do that. I don't know, like where it's. I think this is what I'm saying. Like really trying to hone black people's skills to do things that are beneficial. This is something that we want to do. And we want to create speaking environments and meetings and stuff where this can be done, where we can really pick the most constructive minds in the community to come up with solutions to the problems, you see. So much energy is put into things that don't necessarily benefit us. I was looking at a rapper, I always go back to rappers, but I was looking at a rapper the other day, American brother. I remember he was saying, yeah, man, for so many years I was just putting out things that is very dangerous, isn't it? Just how to harm each other and stuff, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, you were. It's like, imagine if you were putting out how to find solutions to the community, how that would widespread. I think that goes for everything. Like, if anytime we get opportunity, if we can be constructive and try to use our time and energy to form meetings, groups, whatever it might be, based upon that, that's something we have to think about. Like, how do we make that a reality? How do we make those things? How do we get everyone in? Well, I've always said everyone in the same room, but really I've gone to the next step where it's not really everyone. It's the unity and utility people, the people who have the skills and the unity desire to use them, because you don't necessarily need everyone. You just need a small percentage who are very abled, and through the actions they or we do, then it will spread throughout the community by osmosis. So that's the overall goal. Hence why we have to show everyone, family. We try to find, whenever you go through the world and you try to do constructive things and it becomes challenging, you come back here. That's something we should do. If you're going out in the world and you're finding challenges, bring it back here. Go, look, I've tried to do this to help black people, whatever. Hasn't worked. And we can really take it back as homework and try to deliver solutions to the problems you're talking about. As long as you try to be constructive, we can make it a topic here. Like, what challenges do you, so that's the thing out there. What challenges do you face out there when you go to the world and you're trying to do good works? And what do you find most challenging? Let us know here. We're going to try to really, unpack it and find better ways of doing it, and create a kind of support system where we can actually, make things work. So please let us know. For those who join us, we have covered today the topic of, are black children protected at school? We'll look at a young student who based in the Surrey area, which is that's where London hits, outside London towards. Is that the west of the? I want to say west, but I could be wrong. Maybe west, but because I know Essex is east. But anyway, so yeah, the reason I'm saying is I think there might not be that much of a black community there, and the reason we said is because the sister was attacked by students of a family, and they attacked her for quite a long time, and no one intervened, and the teachers didn't even intervene, and then obviously the community saw this, and they went down there, and they made it known that this can't be tolerated. And let's read some of the messages. It was sweet listening to you with the sweet songs. So we're talking about the brother from Grenada. Yes, if you live in the Caribbean, I assume Africa as well at some points, you do hear the wildlife in the background. If you've ever been to the Caribbean, it's a nice feeling, very relaxing. I recommend everyone goes there. That's right, Christy. You've been trying to tell the family, stop wasting time on people who generally do not care. Quality over quantity. Yes, that's right. So that's the thing. Essentially, whenever you see me publicly speaking or yourself, sometimes you talk to people who are not listening, and remember that you're talking through them to other people. Because not everyone you talk to you're trying to convince, but you understand that if you are on a public platform that people listen to, then you can talk through people to a bigger community, and hopefully you'll influence a person there who will be constructive and you can work with. That's how I've always seen it. But let us know, family. When you went to school, did you deal with any kind of racism? Do you have children? Do you ask them questions about how they're being treated and stuff? Just so you know, you're giving them the right amount of time they need, and let them know they have a support. And once again, big up the brothers and sisters who went down to Surrey to let them know that you cannot mistreat children. It's not acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
That's right. Anything, Brother Cal, you want to cover?
Yeah, it just reminded me of like in the 90s, man. I don't know if people are aware of King Standing, Perry Bar. Those areas were very racist, man. And Handsworth is down the road from Perry Bar, and then when you go to Perry Bar, you got like the dog racing tracks. So then when you go there, you got King Standing, and it was very horrendous. I was a teenager in the early 90s, man, but it was very like horrible, Brother Raven, no different than anywhere else, man. Like elderly black women get attacked, and little black boys, and the community, people like to put down the gangs, but a lot of us, we have relatives, etc. So the gang members, they unified together and they went down there and they did what they needed to do. And, I noticed by that force, I know it's very graphical, I'm not going to go into it, but the fact of going down there and, taking out this and doing that and blah, 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 what it showed them is like, whoa, if we touch the elderly or the little girls, we're going to get hurt badly. And then black people were able to move into King's Standing and Erdington, You know, the point is that I know we don't like violence. Sometimes violence, backed up with political science, is necessary after the science of negotiation and pleading activism and putting the cards that you want to better for your people. That's not working. Then there has to be military science, and I believe that has to go forward, Brother Raven, when we're in areas that are not black populated, as well as other places, to get the message that if you touch us, right, there's going to be repercussions. They don't seem to have that, Brother Raven, of that feeling of, if we touch black people, we're going to get hurt.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like you have to understand that, you know, there are people who care about people, and if you mistreat them, there will be repercussions, and we're seeing the beginning stage of that. Something I didn't want to really cover this time, but I'll bring up this because you mentioned it. Because obviously, Brother Kel was talking about there were people from different communities, maybe different gangs or identified gangs, who came together to defend the black lady, the black auntie, and this is interesting because this is, you know, where people saying people might engage in certain kind of lifestyles, but they still have a value system, and they still honor and respect the elderly, the young, and this kind of stuff, right? I saw a video, and I don't know, I don't know much about it, so I haven't seen much of it, but I suspect it's going to unpack throughout the week, and it's all. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, yeah. And I saw a video, and it's I can't really explain it, but it's of there's a male voice shouting, telling I think it's a white girl voice to attack a mother, a black mother, I assume it was, and I think they were attacking her because her son allegedly stabbed someone, or something like this, right? I don't know. I don't know how true or not true it is, but it's there. It's going to unpack. But if we're at the time now where people's mums are being attacked, yeah, through street culture or whatever it is, this is problematic. It's very problematic, extremely problematic, and it's something that we need to watch out for. I don't know much about it now, but I suspect as the days go by, that video will go more viral and it'll be unpacked. But yeah, just correlating what you're saying about not losing your way and then making everything, you know, your wants of people with some kind of honor and structure becoming very savage or whatever. But we'll unpack that. But Empress Kuch, welcome to the show. Oh, you might, when you find, there we go.
What's up, family?
We got beloved. We got
Black Betterment to you, Black Betterment.
Black Betterment.
Yeah. So have you been listening? You catch most of the show about the two topics, right? Do you have any opinions on maybe the black school children, black school children protected? Were you aware of this story before this today? Did you come across it? Okay.
Yeah, definitely done its rounds. So I've definitely seen it. Yeah, I think the first time was a bit blurry, but then I saw it again, and I don't know the copy. The one that I saw was very clear. So yeah. Like what you and Cal were saying, like I was just thankful that the sister had the strength to survive that, because there was serious blows and kicks to the head.
Yes.
There wasn't much empathy or there wasn't much humanity going on there, or so all this feminism, the white women, there wasn't much of that going on, or just I could just make a list of all these people that are supposed to, like the Irish are just basically blacks, and like it just comes down to what someone just quoted, like we have no friends. We have no friends. So all of these scenarios and groups that they attach to us that are supposed to be our support, I mean, nothing. I mean, a mother encouraging her children to do that alone is just shocking.
Very shocking.
Yeah, I mean, in our community, not only would even if all of them were black, but to see a mother going in and watching that happen, they would have been shunned. Like we have our faults and stuff, but I couldn't see a black mother getting away with that. Yeah.
You have to understand.
Like we're the most animalistic. We have no sort of code or morals. Yeah, we see the truth, and it was televised.
Yeah, but I mean, the way to unpack it, you've got multiple things down. You've got a family attacking a young black child, plus parents shouting ways to do it to increase the harm and damage, and then you're in an area where nobody is getting involved, nobody,
no one.
And then when the teachers get there, they're very blasé. They allow the people to get away. They make very small efforts, and then there's reporting of other teachers laughing at them.
Yeah,
this kind of stuff, right? So it's
what the video never got picked up, which I'm pleased that they've admitted to, that they were saying racial words, the N words.
Right.
So if you on mainstream media, they've made it clear. The police have made it clear because they've had the new commissioner, the change of guard of the police and stuff. So I think this is like one of his first racial cases since he's been on. And I've been looking at it, and I've been looking at the language, and they made sure to not mess that up, and they've made it very clear that this is racially aggravated assault.
This is very important because I mean,
absolutely. Because I've heard black people even saying, to minimize it, well, we can't say it's race, just exactly what the brother was saying. Like, spot on what you, like, we know we could have predicted the layouts, but I've even heard people say, well, we can't say it's race. I'm just like, Jesus, like, all you have to do is look into it. If you just actually mainstream media are admitting that it's racial.
Yeah, I've heard non-white people say this to me directly, Chris. It's the thing is, look, one thing, and this is something that we have to really watch within our community, is sometimes we're so desensitized ourselves, that there's so much we might miss, you see, and we definitely need everyone to pitch in to unpack all this stuff.
Absolutely.
Because some I've talked to people like, well, it's just a fight amongst they're kids, they're just fighting, and I'm like, do you understand this is a whole family, systematically and structurally attacking a black child and telling them how to maximize harm, you see, and completely ignored by an entire community on the high road. I think the video I saw, because they chopped it up, it was on different streets. So it started on one street and it ended up on completely different looking streets.
Did you see the cars just standing there and a man in a car just looking and beeping his horn?
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, but I mean, then
we have no friends. Like this should be exactly why I should show people when they try and chuck feminist thing to black women. Irish are our friends. Like the officers, society ain't racist. Like this is an example of micro-aggressive racism, maximum overt racism, all in one shot. And then to make it worse, it was a black female on her own. Ganged up with this is everything we talk about. You know what? Brother's right, because that's one thing that the Black Americans channels do that I realize they're starting to do really well. Like they do analyze, and like what brother says, either our people just choose not to see it, they're desensitized, or it goes over their head. They really are not seeing. I do agree that we do need to do this, because in this one shot. Like in that one video, you've got everything they chuck at us, why we should be so loving and how we're protected and we're humanitarians and we're all humans on this planet. That was out of the window. Even the teachers were just taking a stroll, no waste. The girl was getting kicked, blows in the head. If those girls weren't so I don't know, maybe they weren't strong or whatever, but just imagine. One of those kick blows, we could be having a totally different conversation right now.
She held her ground, though. She held her ground.
And then the way the mum was there, the mum had this is a woman. This is a grown woman.
Yes, this is what you have to unpack now. See, this is the things that sometimes we forget, and when I've talked to many people, don't forget. Can you imagine you being attacked by a group of people, and then you see an adult giving instructions how to harm you?
Come on.
Yeah.
As a child, I see this is not most people. They expect adults to be adults, right? And actually stop it and go, "What are you doing?" But you have someone trying to give information of how best to maximize damage on someone.
Kick her in her head, rip the head off. It was like seriously like damage.
Yeah.
She wasn't telling her to hold her arms or whatever. She was telling her to directly kick her in her head. And when the girl stopped, she'd tell her off and tell her to get back in there.
Yeah.
Wickedness.
But unfortunately, there are some brothers and sisters who are like, kids will be kids, and this is just a street fight. Fights happen all the time, blah blah blah. And what I'm saying is, we might ourselves be desensitized. You see, some of us. This is the thing. We need people. We need a code of conduct and a way of dealing with things. And making sure when racism is practiced that people get penalized for racism is important. There should be a fear of mistreating black people. There should be
Exactly.
a healthy fear of mistreating black people.
Especially their kids. That's what's getting to me. Like, they need to understand, because once you can play, like what the saying goes, I can't say it properly, but show me a nation who treats its women, I'll show you what a nation's really like. But that's
right.
women.
That's
Imagine
right.
if we allow them to treat our kids like this. No respect.
This is the thing. Like I said, that's why, as a principle, from an optic standpoint, you have to have black men protecting black women. You have to have that reaction, because if you have a heightened women and children and girls being assaulted, that means that your defense mechanism is down, and every nation group, your defense mechanism is your men. It's your first primary defense, right? It's like the biology of how men are made. So once that gets taken down, then you're going to see black women being mistreated at a high rate, and then children being mistreated at a high rate. So this has to be really trained into people's minds, really. And like I said, bring up to the brothers and sisters who went down to let them know that this will not be tolerated. And like I said, brothers traveled from many different cities.
They did.
So we have to bring up those brothers and sisters. So well done. But one thing we were saying is,
From their respect, as a black woman, it was nice to see that for myself, to see different brothers coming on and talking with passion and talking in respect that, a lot of brothers was like, I couldn't, that if you've got a sister, I've got a sister, I've got a daughter, so people were starting talking like a community, when I see you, I see myself. When they saw that video, they saw a family member, and it drove those men to come out. And different black men in there that I could see that was just had a force about them and stood their ground and wanted it to be, because it's true. You should really think twice. I mean, I've heard some black people talk about, oh well, you know how the Irish gypsies are. That what are we talking about?
I know.
What are we talking about? What now we're publicly acting like we're scared of another community. What are we doing now? I'm sorry. That is not the rhetoric at all, right? Because when they talk about violence, they're quick to say that, black on black violence and we're so aggressive, but now all of a sudden Irish gypsies can come and just for the time I've been here, I've never heard this rhetoric. The Irish gypsies have been around in this community for almost as long as we have, right? They've got their own form of history traveling around. So I don't understand when this rhetoric came about. I didn't see black people having this issue or worried about them, and now it's like, well, I wouldn't try it with it. That's why, to me, the way I stand, my personal opinion, Kushti, I'm glad those brothers rolled out, rather than the rhetoric of, oh, you don't want to test the Irish. Like, come on, I'd rather you shut up and say nothing than to say that, and let the brothers that want to ride out.
Yeah,
that's just mad.
Because the Irish gypsies used to hide with the black community when the English in the 40s used to attack them. So they're hiding with us. You understand? So I don't understand what's going on there.
The same with the Asian community when the white people used to go around pea bashing.
Exactly.
We're always the people that they run to for help. So now all of a sudden one of them have the audacity, because this is not a constant occurrence. Like one family lost their mind and forgotten what community they dealt with. So yes, they must be treated harshly, to remind them there's a reason why you don't go around touching our kids. Like let us remind you. Like now you've been reminded nicely, because that was a peaceful protest, but with strong presence. Don't let it happen again, because who knows what happened the next time. Like sometimes we need to leverage off of this kind of stigma and notoriety we have as a community. We need to know when to use it and when not.
Exactly.
I think what we were saying is, you look at a lot of the being of the teachers at this place, and they really do not come across like they really care about the student. And I think this was what triggered many of the brothers and sisters at the time. You see, it was very consistent.
It's so true.
And it's the temperament as well. This is why there's different temperaments: ice, mountain, sun, and sand. Because if you looked at the video, did you see how the head teacher allowed the little ice girl to get a last one in? You see that, Brother Raven, as the Kushi? He allowed her to get a last one, the last round in. He allowed it.
Yeah.
You know? So
100%. You're saying that absolutely. And that's supposed to be a person of, like, that's a teacher. No wonder the parents are actually calling for the school to be shut down. I've been hearing calls for that. I didn't know what.
That's the head teacher. That was the head teacher.
Was it?
That was the head teacher.
Yeah, it's head teacher.
What fire?
That's why I was
if that's the leader, what do you have hope for the rest of the school?
Yeah, that's what because that's what I saw on the thing. They said this is the head teacher and they showed the picture. I was like, okay, same guy. I was like, okay. So I think it was like a big thing and everyone saw it. That's why everyone came out with it. I don't know. I mean, I think the angle I come from is something now that we happen. It's like something that we got minimized, and it's good to see the brothers and sisters come out, and it's the kind of energy you want to keep. And like Empress Kushti said, whoever was talking about, whatever they're talking about, gypsies, whatever it is, they stay at home, innit? They stay at home.
Literally.
Stay at home and stuff. And that's the thing. I think sometimes, and funny enough, because this show is about this concept of equity exploitation, and so anyone who talks against you doing something for your own community that betters it, we can't really tolerate it, and we have to let them know they're practicing this because it's not this like you try to like the reason why you want your community to thrive is so your daughters don't get beat up at school, and if a solution at one point might be you have your own schools, then that might be the solution, isn't it? It's just one of those things, really. But yeah, what is this? So, yeah,
I think it also kind of highlights the issue about, Black people thinking that wealth or success is moving out to a white area while you're the single person in there, and the dangers that puts you in.
Yes, that's because I think Brother Kel was talking about this not too long ago about a family went to Wales or something like this, and
that's right.
Yeah.
And something happened.
That happened to the little black boy that up there. Yeah.
And this is the thing.
And that was bullying as well, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Something happened to his fingers, right? Am I wrong? I can't remember.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And it's the same kind of rhetoric: constant complaints, ignored. Teachers couldn't be bothered. No one stepped in.
Yeah.
So I think
that's what I'm saying, Brother Raven. That's what I say. If we could formulate the Black Betterment Neighbourhood Watch, brother, reach out to all the boroughs around the UK. You know what I mean? Because some of us are going to want to settle out, which is ridiculous. But at least there's a little community there. If they stay as one and they can, walk the kids to school, etc. Then, because remember when we're like in large amounts, it scares them. They have that phobia. You know what I mean? So as long as we can send out to the communities, okay, you're in Surrey, okay, Black Betterment Neighbourhood Watch. These are the rules. This is how much you're going to get paid, etc. It will limit certain, and then if anything kicks off, then they can call and we can all go down there. And believe you me, already they're not going to want that.
Very true. Man. Okay. Let's look at these videos now. Yep.
I think it's good to say that I think they've all been arrested.
Is it all of them? Did they say what one was still on the run? But
oh, really? I thought I heard 5 was arrested.
Yeah, I think let's show what
and help further build our case. Hello, I'm Chief Inspector Dallas McDermott, part of the senior leadership team of North Surrey Division. I wanted to bring you this update as we continue to investigate a serious racially aggravated assault outside a school in Ashford. I want you to know that we've arrested 5 people, 4 on suspicion of attempted racially aggravated GBH. 2 of these people were also arrested on suspicion of child neglect and for encouraging an offence to be committed.
That means 2 of them were adults. So that's what that means, right?
Victims continue to receive specialist support from officers, and I can confirm that 1 has been to hospital and received treatment for injury.
That means one of the attackers. wait a minute, is my mind just going wrong? I think I read. Let me get that report over.
Injuries sustained during the attack. A 15-year-old girl is still wanted in connection with this assault on suspicion of racially aggravated harassment. She knows she is wanted. We are working hard to find her, and we ask her to come forward. The video of the assault is incredibly distressing. I understand that people may want to share this footage to raise awareness, but I'm requesting the video isn't shared further for two reasons. Firstly, it's incredibly upsetting to the victims and their family and friends to see such footage. They've been through enough. And secondly, it's critical to any future court case that it is not distributed more widely, as there is a risk it could prejudice a trial or hearing. We've obtained the original video as evidence and are building a case to put to the Crown Prosecution Service. Finally, I urge anyone with additional footage or images, such as dash cams, CCTV.
So what I'm reading here, this is from the Black Child Agenda, please follow them, everyone, is the fight took place at the same time. So what they're explaining there was there was two attacks, I think they're saying. The fight at the same time. The Gypsies had planned an attack from a week before, so they were planning it to attack two black girls, I believe. Both girls faced racist abuse by Gypsies again, and then they said one of them defend themselves. So it was a planned attack from weeks by, and there was two black girls who were attacked apparently. Maybe there's only video of one of them. I don't know if it happened in unison, but I think one of the girls ended up going to hospital for as the police has described there, and I think one got away. I think there was one young Gypsy child who escaped. Maybe the one who was the one who got the last kicking. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, their family is probably harboring them right now. They know exactly where that child is.
Yeah, of course.
And another thing that has to be mentioned as well is that I heard that that particular black girl, I've heard this several times as well. People interviewed the students that go to that school, that how that black girl was actually protecting a white girl that they were picking on.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So the black girl saw that they were pushing on bullying on the white girl. I think somehow they got in trouble because she stood up for and make commotion, teachers aware, whatever, and that's one of the reasons why they were coming for her. So this is what I'm saying.
That makes it even worse.
Exactly, bro.
That makes it even worse.
This is why I say in one video it compass our problem. In one video, it's so many levels.
We're gonna have to really unpack that. I'm gonna have to really research that because I've seen that happen many times. Last time I saw that happen was in a tube station the other day where there are two European gentlemen fighting, and the black man came in to like push to separate, like stop, and then the other one started on him, and while he did that, the other one used that time to escape and left. You see it? I had to jump in and stop it, and you know what I mean. So it's like, okay, this is like, mate, that's very dishonorable. Like,
very dishonorable.
That's very dishonorable.
Black people be busy being honourable in a dishonourable world right now.
Well, the thing is, we did cover, and I did invite the brother gentleman to come on. And this was a scene when Respect and then went to the I think Travis Square it was where the anti-black racists wanted to attack the women and children for protesting Black Lives Matter, this kind of stuff. And what happened is there was a ex-cop, I think it was, who was attacking black people. And he got knocked out, beat down, and he was rescued by a bodybuilder black guy. And we were following the story of that black guy being nominated and given an award and magazine appearances and TV for saving black races.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I did invite the gentleman on the show, but I don't think it was something he wanted to do. But we were trying to see how they made him into a hero for saving the racists, but they never actually put the racist on TV and have his views. And what we found is the racist never actually was apologetic. He didn't really thank the man for saving him.
Look at that.
And it was the turn the other cheek kind of philosophy that many of the dominant society like preaching in the black community. Like, if we attack you, save us, turn the other cheek, and we'll give you awards for getting beaten up and smiling. And
two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
So, and that's something I want to cover again, because once again, it's the kind of subservience that I see quite rife in the black community that taught to us. and it's really unpacking that. And I guess the strategy I would do is the community that's making you turn the other cheek. Can you show me examples when they do that? So, for example, when 9/11 happened in America, was there a kind of, well, turn the other cheek, bad things happen, and this kind of, no, there was, we must find them and kill them, right? And there is no dialogue of let's forgive Osama bin Laden for what he eventually did at 9/11. For slavery, for modern lynchings or what it might be, there's the first thing before the person is buried or the person's in jail is let's not talk about forgiveness.
Especially
So
black people, because we've got a picture of black people getting angry and doing what they did to black people and it being reversed.
Yeah. So this is something we have to train, because there is a natural subservience that I keep, or even unnatural subservience I'm seeing many black people, and it's something that has definitely been taught, and the only way we have to break it is by asking them, give me an example of the other community doing the same thing when they've been terribly beaten down.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone starts asking for forgiveness at this scenario here. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm just hoping that it's not the same rhetoric, because we're just as bad, bro. Because even in America, what happened with that recently, the first thing I've noticed, because I was reading up on something, I forgot what the philosopher was saying, and I've started noticing that it is a pattern. So as soon as I heard about this, I was waiting for the black family to come on, and the first thing they do is, and this is what's so unethical and unhonorable, that they'll get the parents to come on, and the first thing they'll make the parents talk about is forgiveness. We forgive them. We don't want no rioting. We don't want no violence. I'm just like, you see, it just kind of echoes what you were saying, what you were both just saying just now. They'll always get one of us to be docile. As soon as something happens, the first thing is, higher ground. When they go low, we go high. Forgiveness, religion, some form of religion. Jesus will come into it. It's just the same old rhetoric. Like when the girl was getting beat down, I never saw one girl, one little boy, no adult step in. Even this little girl that had her back. Where's the little friend now?
This is something we have to, because I'm gonna have to research. Because if that is true, and this attack was because she tried to protect a young, white girl, then the question would be, where was that girl then?
That's just like a maximum next level. That is just the question what you brought there, because if that's true, whoa.
Because remember, there's many things. Remember, this is a case study itself, right? So you could break down the fact that there was a planned attack on 2 black girls, and they came as a family. They attacked in a herd, and adults were given information on how to maximize pain and damage, and then passers-by passed by, and then there was no support, and then the teachers came and had a lackluster intervention, and then even afterwards were laughing and not getting back to people who are concerned, and also have a very blasé attitude towards this whole event. So if the final ice on the cake is this was actually all in defense of a white student, then this is just the wake up call that black people might need. You see, this might be. The continuing.
I check with Ras, like literally, he'll tell you it was that she was helping a white girl, a little white.
Whoa, that's deep. That is, man. That's even worse, man. Not for the little queen, but you know what I mean.
That's the idea that you've gone through all this, and you have no support.
Yeah, that's worse,
no support in doing this honorable thing. That's something else, really, isn't it?
It just goes to show this is the current situation of black people. We have no friends, and we just don't want to believe it. Some of us, I don't know. We really believe the okie doke now. We really that one love, unity, racism was a long time ago. Like black people in the UK right now believe that rhetoric, which is amazing.
It's true.
They've really fell for it. Like they drank the Kool-Aid. They just don't get it. It's crazy. It's worrying as well. Because even when we had our own views, our own beliefs, you couldn't pull. We knew the enemy. The enemy was clear.
it was clear.
Because it was clear, yeah. Maybe because
Mm.
it was overt and obvious. Maybe that was it, but it's just crazy, you know. And technically, in any other scenario, that black girl should have been a hero. She did the right thing, right? She stood up for something. It's what they something bad, call it out. Don't you know? Schools have anti-bullying awareness weeks. You know, they have whole days dedicated to anti-bullying, and this is the rhetoric that they push out to kids. And look what happens.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there was absolutely zero support throughout the entire documentation of this travesty, really, and yeah, it's something we need to unpack. And once again, I'm seeing data of people, of school students who went there a few years back saying, "I was a victim of racism, and this was very normal." And I think some of them showed complaints towards the school. I think I saw one kind of stream. So yeah, and you know, the thing is, this is like the iceberg effect, isn't it? Really, you see the iceberg top, but when you really unravel it, of course you're seeing this because it's a normal thing that seems to happen. And yeah, it's something that we need to collate and make examples of, and I guess try to find solutions. But I guess moving towards what Brother Kel said, like you might want to move to non-black or all white cities and stuff. Unfortunately, you might have to face that anti-black racism might be a thing there, you know, a heightened thing, I should say.
Exactly, and that's the biggest message to give to people who are, what is the correct way of saying it? Those who like to go with the status quo, that even run away from your blackness and black people run away, you're not going to get away with it. So even if you are just for yourself, it makes sense to unify. It makes sense for you to unify. You're the most selfish, like non-on code person you can think of. Even for yourself, it makes sense to unify. It makes sense for black people to not be seen like trash, because wherever you go, you'll be seen like trash. That's what black people need to wake up to. Like, why run out of the community? Stay in the community and make your community better and grow, be stronger, because you're within a group of people. That's the only way we're going to thrive. Running away and doing every which way but admit that you're black and for the culture, it's not helping us.
I was looking at something that Professor Small said about
Professor Smalls is
man.
Yeah.
He was saying something about Tulsa in America. They were saying that the original incident, as it was reported, was there was either a black gentleman and a European lady who were either dating or they've been dating or something, and the incident happened where they had an argument in some building or something, and she ran to the European community and complained about this, you know, her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or whatever, however the arrangement was. And then this was the starting catalyst of when the white men, because in those days, like, once again, if white men thought that black women, with white women were being pursued or harassed or anything like this, they would definitely come and bring guns. So the war allegedly started because of that. This is what's been reported.
Yeah, I've heard
yeah, that's what I heard. This was the starting thing, and I won't be surprised if you look at history. But go ahead. So yeah, I was saying. So this was the starting point, and then obviously, so this is the starting point of. So our philosophy there is, you know, constructive black man, constructive black woman have family. But obviously, I didn't know this, but it was a practice, and then it caused a kind of war apparently. And then the next thing was when the government and the Ku Klux Klan bombed the Tulsa Homa, there was. All the black businesses had insurance with white banks that didn't obviously honor the agreement, but I think Ferris Mills was saying people thought that was the end of Tulsa, but really it wasn't. They then came back, they built up again, but what happened was when the law started changing, where black people were allowed to work with white people and kind of things, whatever, they sold their own companies and stuff. They no longer were practicing group economics.
That's when the white ice was colder.
Yes, the white ice was colder.
Yeah.
And because of that, it just wasn't sustained, and then they built a highway for it, something like this. So this is the thing, but this is what we're seeing. Like, black people do not want to do black own things. But let me bring up, brother, before I forget. I'm gonna go there maybe this week or next week. The Black Pound store is now in two Westfields, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm big up brother Swiss. Like, if you ask me, He might be the most important rapper in the UK now if he's pushing that. This is, and I have to, maybe I might should do something to dedicate towards that, because getting brothers who are entertainers, musicians, sport athletes, and mainstream optical people to do activities about Black life and Black economics. This is powerful stuff.
There must be rewarded. There must be rewarded.
Remind us to do that.
I think that would be great. And on the back of that, there's another thing that I'd love us to explore as well, where it's about on the back of if you're saying so around the civil rights era, people like Aretha Franklin, I made sure that she got that lady from the Black Panther, she got her freed. This is all. So this is why I've been. My main thought was never to be too critical of Black artists if I'm not 100% sure, because there's so many artists who were phenomenal artists, like soul legends, and they were really down for the force. Like they were financing so many things, and there's so many we only hear about it when they die, and they'd be doing the role, they'll be going to white media, they'll be smiling, they'll be shaking hands, they'll be doing interviews, but they were the biggest beneficiaries to some of the most radical movements for Black people. They were on code. And another example of that, and bear with me, family, because you know I'm on code. Like I know it's gonna sound crazy, but when Meghan and Harry went away, the first person they went to was who? Tyler Perry. And it was how did she know Tyler Perry? She didn't even know Tyler Perry. Her connection with Oprah. There was what I'm trying to say is there is this Black underbelly, and I'm not saying that these people that I've mentioned have not done some off-code things. They blatantly. But what I'm saying is the power of understanding that we are Black and we have money and we have a commitment, an expectation to give back, and when it counts, Black people with money can do that. They have got this kind of unity, this kind of society of Black people. You hear about what's the guy? He's also an actor and a singer, James Fox, something Fox.
Oh, Jamie Foxx, right?
Yeah, you always hear about him having stories where he's kind of like, you know, he's kind of like the Raven. He's always inviting Black people over, housing parties. He's kind of founded so many new artists. He was there at the beginning of them kind of building up, and they've invited them over. So there is this kind of understanding within the Black collective, who are well known for money, how they kind of help each other, whether or not they're doing more than they should be doing. There is that there, and there has been a big history of that before then. So what Swiss is doing as a UK Black man, you know, it really does needs to be celebrated, because there's power in that. Swiss might be the first one in our generation, with all these rappers that have just not represented the culture well, might be a different way, and people like us should be connecting with him. This should be like a movement. This should be the drive of the UK Black underbelly to get things collectively moving, because even if we look at Child Q case to this case, the way that they've moved forward and moved quickly on this, we could have got things better, but it could have been a lot worse how they've normally acted. I think they are scared of the Black movement now. They won't admit it, but they are treading very carefully, when not as much as we want to do. But I am seeing that we are breaking, you know, we're breaking in a bit. I can see cracks. I can see that all those brothers came over. You could see the rhetoric. You could see it in the media, the language they're using. There was no allegedly. This was straight race. We know it's race. Hands up, racism. You know, these people already arrested. Like, it was very clear that we know what it is and we're active on it. Whether or not we know that they're doing it or not, they understand that they have to be perceived. You can't be just acting like it's nothing to do this to a Black life now. You at least have to be seen to be doing something. And if they don't do it, we now have the leverage and the power to make them do something, because they've acknowledged now that we have to do something. And even though that's a small movement, progress, it's actually a big progress for us, and it's something that we can leverage on in the future. I hope that makes sense, because that was a lot that I said in there. But
no, it made sense, definitely. And to round it off, you're right. We have to highlight what Brother Swiss is doing and others similar, and reward them. You have to making people who promote Black economics and Black love prosper is important. making it cool, making it the thing to do. You see, because some people say that maybe you should shun people who don't, but unfortunately, because it's the majority who don't do anything, it's the few who do who you have to make the kings and queens, right?
That's
Because
right. That's
you
right.
make that the goal that people want to get to.
Absolutely.
And like I said, history that right now, this is history now. So you will be known as one of the first. You see, this is a title we offer to all you black brothers and sisters out there. You could be one of the first if you're optically out there and you have any kind of connection. All you have to do is say the right thing, be on code here and there, and we will highlight you. So that's something that maybe next week I could do something on Swiss or something.
Yeah, that would be amazing, because I think especially, me, I'm passionate about it. I think actually recognizing our strength in regards to black business and move with money, and that's the only language that these people hear is money. That's the reason we're enslaved, was back of finance, money. So that's the only language. And if they could do that, the most of disgusting things for a human being off of money, you understand that money is their god. So it's time that we start collective and getting together and utilizing that, especially when we are the biggest consumers. That's the only way to hurt them. Stop giving them money. So I just think that what Swiss is doing is amazing, and I think it's the start of this kind of developing black consciousness that we want to see. I think it's in real time happening now. It's a great and yeah. Especially because we went to do the co-unity spend as well just before COVID hit. Bro. So again, this is beautiful. This is all just seeing that it's flowing in the right direction and things moving forward. So it's great.
Well done. Well, thank you, family. So, family, we've hit the 2-hour mark on my machine. I see it's highlighting. So, Empress Kush and Brother Kel, any last thoughts before we head out?
No, just gonna say it was lovely jumping on and obviously being in the company of both of you brothers and talking about this. So yeah, another great show. So thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, brother, just the same. Good to have the unity back, and yeah, man, solutions every week. It's needed, man. Black Betterment.
Black Betterment. So everyone, till next week, family. Black Betterment, and anything you want to do. Just let us know. You can message us on the comment section or in Instagram. Please follow our page so you can help find out more things coming out. But until then, everyone, Black Batman until next week. Black Batman all.
Black Batman.